Okay, hello. My name is Christopher, and today the Linux distro that I'm going to be explaining about is Kubuntu. So first off, what is Kubuntu? Kubuntu is a free open source Linux distro that could allow people to explore the world of Linux, and it's essentially an OS that should be really familiar to us, and I will get that later on in this explanation. All right, first off, how do we download Kubuntu? In order to download Kubuntu, we have to go to kubuntu.org/get-kubuntu, and then you could choose from the options of the different versions that you want to download. In this case, I downloaded this version, the 22.04 LTS, 64-bit, and you could click on this link over here, and the download will begin. It's 3.4 gigabytes, and the download usually takes no longer than 30 minutes to 1 hour. So since I've already installed this operating system inside my PC, then I shall not proceed this any further. Okay, so once you finish the downloading process and following the instructions given in the wizard, you will find this file/folder in your PC. This one, Kubuntu/22.04 desktop AMD 64.9 ISO, and this will be the disk image file that you are going to be using in order to run Kubuntu. So there are many ways to run Kubuntu. You could burn a CD, number one. Number two, you could transfer the downloaded file into a pen drive and then run it from there. Or number three, you could do what I did, is install a VirtualBox, a virtual machine. In this case, I used Oracle VM VirtualBox to run Kubuntu. And in order to download VirtualBox, you have to go to virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads. And in this page, you will see the different packages, the different binaries, and the different versions. For the sake of this explanation, I chose the VirtualBox 6.1.34 platform package. In this one, the Windows hosts one. And if you click on the link, similar to the Kubuntu download, it will download it for you. And then after following a simple set of instructions, you will end up with this application in your personal desktop, Oracle VM VirtualBox. And I'm going to click on this now. So in order to run Kubuntu on this virtual machine, all you have to do is click on New, click on the name of the operating system that you're using, that you downloaded, sorry, in this case Kubuntu. Make sure this is Linux, set the type Linux, and set to Ubuntu 64-bit, the latest version. And then you click on Next. Since I've already created this particular virtual machine, then I don't have to repeat the same process again. You know what, I'm going to rename it for the sake of this explanation. Let's give it Kubuntu 2. So you click on Next, and for the recommended memory size, I mean, 2,000 to 3,000 megabytes should be enough based on the documentation. So I'm gonna put there 3,000 megabytes, and then create a virtual hard disk now, and then VDI, choose this VDI VirtualBox disk image. And then for the storage, then you want it to be dynamically allocated so that it is the most efficient storage. And then you click on Next. And then the file location and size, you could alter this according to your own will, wherever you want to store this. I'm just going to store this based on the default location given by this software. All right, create. Once you've created your virtual machine, it will show on this side, this left side, where they have all your virtual machines, Kubuntu, Kubuntu 1, and the most recent one that we made, Kubuntu 2. And we're going to click on this, and we're going to press start. All right. Now, once you've opened Kubuntu, the virtual machine that you made, or whatever you named it, you should click on the startup disk that is designated for the Kubuntu file that you downloaded. In this case, it's in my host drive D. So I'm gonna press start, and it should hopefully run Kubuntu. Yes, it does. All right, thank God. Okay, so you could choose whether or not you want to try or install, or you could just press the down arrow key and then press enter on this Kubuntu Safe Graphics, and it will lead you directly to Kubuntu. Should be opened anytime soon now. For the sake of this explanation, I'm just going to be clicking on this try Kubuntu option. So this is Kubuntu. I think the view is a bit enlarged, but I think we have no problem with that. I'm just gonna do this. All right, so this is Kubuntu. This is the home screen of Kubuntu. So yeah, I've seen this a couple of times already, so I'm just gonna explain about the UI UX. So the UI and UX of Kubuntu is actually, in my opinion, a mix of Apple and iOS. Sorry, Apple's iOS and Windows. Uh, Examples include like the file/folder icon, kind of looks like the one you see on the iOS, the Mac iOS, and the taskbar underneath the home screen looks quite similar to the one that you see on Windows. So I guess in terms of UI UX overall, it's a very familiar, it's a very clean design, and it's relatively easy to navigate around because it's, like I said previously, familiar to all of us. All right, so in terms of ease of use, Kubuntu uses the default browser Firefox to browse, and its default search engine is Google. Once you click on Firefox, it should open the application. Okay, so you have Firefox here. Again, pretty similar to the one you see on the normal Firefox on Windows or iOS. Yeah, standard default browser. Even if you're not familiar with Mozilla Firefox, you should be able to navigate around this pretty easily. So in terms of like the applications, I think the applications in Kubuntu is pretty similar to the one that you see in Windows. Like they have their own office suite with like spreadsheet drawing, presentation, formula editor, and a word processor. So the standard Word, PowerPoint, and Excel combination. And if I'm not mistaken, the drawing program is somewhat similar to Draw.io, the free drawing as application that you can see in the internet. And they got games, Mahjong, Minds, Patience, Sudoku, again, standard internet. And I guess one of the most relevant / unique feature of Kubuntu is the fact they have this conversation application, which is essentially an application that allows you to communicate with friends within a server, and it just requires your desktop because it uses an IRC client. Other than that, there's nothing special. Everything is pretty standard. And I guess that's everything about like the basics of Kubuntu that you should know. All right, so I think my explanation on Kubuntu is done here. I'll pass it to Shravan for him to explain his Linux distro. Thank you very much.
Okay, so hello everyone. As is Shravan Srinivasan, I'm here to explain to you. Sorry that camera looks like I'm looking at the computer on how to install Linux Mint. So as you can see, you can just go to this website and it will give you all the instructions on how you can install Linux Mint, including this one, the installation and the download also, and also to verify the ISO image. But before I get into Linux Mint, I want to explain to you about VirtualBox, or in other words, Oracle VM VirtualBox, which is basically some sort of like a storage that helps like store every different types of operating system virtually. So you can basically store like Linux Mint inside the VirtualBox. So if you want to download it, you just click on Windows host. And I already downloaded VirtualBox already, so I'm just gonna click on X. And also, yeah, after that, I'm just gonna go through the main website of the Linux Mint. So how to download Linux Mint is you just click the download button in here, and it says it has Cinnamon edition, it has Mate edition, and it has XFCE edition. So you can just, when you click download, it will take you to mirrors where, or in other words, the ISO image where it's needed if you want to install Linux Mint. So pick the one that is like most closest to you. So for my case is Singapore, and if I click it, it will install the ISO, but I already have one, so yeah, you can do it later. And now we get to the VirtualBox Manager, and what you have to do is the following. You just click on New, and then you give the file the name. So it's like Linux Mint number 2. And the type is of course Linux, and the closest version is Ubuntu 64 bits. And after that you can click on next. And for this Linux Mint, I recommend the megabytes would be closest to the center of the green side, like 1912 megabytes. And after that you can click on next. And then after that, as you can see the instruction here, and you do just leave it as default and just click on create. And again you choose VDI and then leave it as default again, then just click next, click on next. And also here's like, of course the file is going to be quite big, so I would choose dynamically allocated. If you want to know the differences between dynamically allocated and fixed size, you can just read it here. And I'm just going to click on next. And yeah, for Linux Mint, I would change this to 50 gigabytes and just click on create. And you have the Linux Mint here. But before you get into click start, you just have to change up several things from the setting bar. And you just need to go to systems and also, and then you try to find storage and empty, and then you just click on the disk that you installed, which is this one, and click on OK. And after that, you can click on start. Okay, just wait for it to load. And for the selection, you choose this one as the disk, because we only downloaded that disk. So for Linux Mint, if it says automatically boot, you just don't touch anything or what, and just let it start. And I'm just gonna click on X, and as you can see, it's going to start now. And you can see from the left side it's running, so clearly you can know like whether or not you've started the Linux Mint or not. So it may take a while, it may take some time depending on your internet connection, but yeah. And it will make this sound, which means that Linux Mint has started, but you have to, but don't think like, and if this one, just click on no. And be careful, you may think that it's already installed the Linux Mint, but it's going to, you have to click on the CD which is install Linux Mint. Very important that you guys don't skip this step, because you want to set like the time and everything. It's like 12:33 and it's not the ideal time. And yeah, just click on English and the keyboard layout. So like basically, if you want the keyboard to be like from Philippines, the letters would be in Philippines, of course. So if the keyboard you want it to be in English, just select English US, and the words will be in English. And the multimedia codecs or whatever the name is, you just put a check bar on it, and then just click on continue. And just wait for it to load. May take some time. So while waiting, what's like the purpose? Like, why would I even want to install Linux Mint? So the purpose of installing Linux Mint is basically it's free, it's cheap, and it's easy to use. And it has a very fast performance. Okay. and it says it has a selection of erase disk and install Linux Mint. And you select this one and then just click on install now. And it will give you this warning, and it says like, if you continue, the changes listed below will be written into the disk. You just click on continue. It's okay, you can erase the disk because clearly we just like install Linux Mint, and of course nothing is in there. Okay, while it's installing, I'm just gonna go back to finish on what I have elaborated just now. So yeah, it's easy to use the Linux Mint, and yeah, and also very fast performance, as whenever I try to install, it's quite fast. And in here you choose your location, which is in Jakarta, right? And just after that you just click continue, and then from here it says like, who are you, right? So uh just click, type your name, and you just choose a password. Okay, let me make an easy password. Okay, I'm trying to make the password quite easy. One, okay, hold up. Sorry guys, I'm not really good at making my own password. Okay, either way, the password has to match, by the way, and it's just okay, let me type it again. One, two. Okay, let me type slowly. Okay, now it matches. And after that, when you already created your account, it's gonna like copy all the files, and it's gonna open up all the stuff that is needed for installing the Linux Mint. So it's gonna take some time, and yeah. Okay, so once you already finish like install, and like I said, it takes like a while, you will be directed to this notification which says installation has finished. And if you want to continue to test it, it's fine, but in this process state, it's already pretty much done. So just click restart now, and what it's gonna do, it's going to restart the Linux Mint. And yeah, just wait for it to and it says please remove the installation medium. So basically, from this state you just press enter, and then it's gonna restart. Let's, as shown from there. And just wait for the uh, Linux Mint to load. And yeah, it takes some time because it just finished like it installed the Linux Mint. To say is, yeah, Linux Mint is quite efficient and quite extremely great for beginners, and also extremely great for people who have older Windows versions. And yeah, if you're like using Windows XP or Windows Vista, I think I recommend you try Linux Mint. It's much more efficient and much better. And yeah, it's pretty much like that. Linux Mint is also quite popular for many people these days. And don't worry, guys. It also takes quite some time to load, and yeah, much done with the installation process. And you can type your password here, and then you click the arrow key. Now it works. Just wait for the program to load. And now it should work right now. And it will give you this display, which is welcome to Linux Mint, which is basically it's already installed fully on your virtual machine. And yeah, here you have the new feature, which is welcome, and it will tell you like, oh, which version is it, and also specific information, and also the first step. And these are like the key features of the Linux Mint, which is like, these are like the desktop color, and these are the panel layouts, and also here are like the system snapshots, and driver manager, multimedia modec, and etc., and so on. Now talking about the UI, so basically again it's Linux Mint Cinnamon. And yeah, as you can see right now, the benefit of using this Linux, as it looks pretty easy. It's exactly just like, looks exactly almost like Windows 10, and based on the functionalities and the speed, it's quite fast. And let's say, for example, you want to click this calculator, as you can see, it loads pretty fast. And also when you want to try to browse, let's say from the internet, go to like Firefox Web Explorer, and let's say you want to search .youtube.com, and it takes you to YouTube. And yeah, it should load it should be loading. And yeah, now you can see it's already loaded, and you can even like play videos from here. And yeah, you have the sign in page and all of that. And yeah, basically the CD of the installation is already gone, because we have, once again I will say, we have already installed Linux Mint as guide. And also I want to briefly say, like, overall Linux Mint is pretty efficient and easy, one of the easy Linux distro to use. And now we're gonna talk about which one of the OS is the best OS. Okay,
I think,
just
in my humble opinion, the better Linux distro is Linux Mint, purely because of its compatibility towards many external applications.
okay. And yeah, pretty much
right?
I would agree with him also. Linux Mint is quite efficient, and it also, like I shown earlier, it looks very easy. It looks almost exactly similar to what a Windows 10 users would be. So if you really are a Windows person, I recommend you try Linux Mint as the Linux distro. And yeah, everything is pretty much said. So Linux Mint is the best Linux distro in our opinion. No, thank you.
Okay. So thank you for the explanation, Travan. That concludes both the explanations for Kubuntu and Linux Mint. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.